And I have no bearings about when the next helicopter is due because I've lost track of when they were. Did you really sleep only that long? I mean, even for wakeful, come on. Yep, the katana is just a trophy now. I'm mostly curious, like, by the time we finish this, how many how many katanas and machetes we'll find. I'll find a better place to put it later, but sure. I wanted that to be on top of the bed. There we go. At some point I need to start a tailoring cabinet. This just basically equates to having more water storage. Okay, and I didn't want to try and gas this thing up when I couldn't see, because I thought I had heard a zombie the other, like, when we came in, but I couldn't find it. And I didn't want to risk trying to fill up the vehicle where I can't see much with there being potentially a zombie nearby. That's not what I want. It's too close to the pump. It would be a nice touch to be able to like have wall mount weapons, that kind of thing, just to show off, not like turrets and all that. Do I hear a zombie? Yes, I do. And I'm filling up gas cans, that way as we drive around and we see vehicles, if we want to take them, you know, we can. I do need to work on getting Mechanic 2. I've said that a number of times, so I need to actually do it. Okay, I left the 2 nightsticks and the 2 hunting knives in there as backup weapons. Otherwise, the gas cans are the only other thing I'm bringing. I've got cabbage with me for food. We've topped off our water. Yeah, I could go for that. Like, my only concern when people brought up traps was, like, 7 Days to Die, where you could set up the traps and the traps just do the trap thing and kill the zombies. Which is fine. Like, that's not a negative in 7 Days to Die. But I'm glad that this one you have to actively participate in the destruction of the zombies. Like, it's not just set up shop and wait. How is our mechanic skill? Not great. Oh, right, we still don't have the tools we need for being a mechanic. Hey, Rainbow Octavian. How's it going? Alright, and we've got ourselves some push-ups being cashed in, so give me a moment to knock out those push-ups and I'll be right back. Yeah. Like, I can definitely get on board with the idea of traps that are immobilizing or delaying tactics, stuff like that. Like a snare trap or something, where like a zombie walks through it, it gets snared, and it kind of yanks at it for a couple of times before it breaks free and continues following. So you can kind of use it as a way, more of a means of giving you a chance to run away or to separate out a horde or stuff like that. Yeah, and I like the idea, like a bear trap could, you know, same idea, it was to delay the zombie for a little bit, and it can do some damage, but not meaningful. Like, it shouldn't be able to really kill the zombie, but it could also be defensive on being able to control where the zombies go. Oh yeah, I mean, but let's say I set up like 50 or 60 snares. I'm still just delaying the zombies, that maybe I keep the zombies away from me, but ultimately I don't make much progress. Give me your flamingos. Like, I'm okay with people being able to abuse them some, but like, you shouldn't be able to use them as a defense that just makes your base undefeatable. Yep. I just don't want the 7 days... Like, 7 Days to Die is good for what it is, but I feel like it is a different style of game than Project Zomboid. And I feel being able to, like, put up a whole bunch of spike traps, like, layers and layers and layers, and, you know, the zombies take damage when they walk in them. Like, I don't feel that's the type of game Project Zomboid is. Like, Project Zomboid doesn't have, you know, after N days your base falls under siege. It's more strategic about avoiding risk than just outright trying to keep your fortifications up. That said, I wouldn't mind a game mode in Project Zomboid that was that, where it's like, here, we've given you traps for this game mode the zombies are coming, good luck. Oh yeah, but then, like, even if it just rotated like 45 degrees or whatever, or sorry, 90 degrees, just so like when you walk up to a building, you could just turn the camera to the other side of the building so you aren't heading into the back of the building unable to see anything. Right, like an accumulator mode, but more complicated, that you could buy a trap, and I would still say, like people mentioned, the trap would have a durability to it or something that it doesn't last forever. But you could use strategically that your character would know about the trap so you could run past it real fast. And then the zombies you could use as delaying tactic or a tactic to, you know, split hordes into smaller groups and that kind of thing. Yeah, so I wanted to kill that group because I saw there was a horde over there. Alright, we'll hop in the car, then we're going to remove our mark telling us that's where the flamingos are. Oh, I'm here. Let's grab this generator. I probably don't need it, but we're here. It's here. Let's grab it. We can chuck it in the truck for another day. Yeah, it's the implication of a trap being something that damages the zombies, where it's like, alright, this would fundamentally change the game. But if it is just a delaying tactic kind of trap, that I'm much more on board with. Alright, so got more flamingos down there. The reason there's an odd number of push-ups is one of the times people claimed when I did 8 instead of 5. And so I'm keeping it there mostly because it bothers people, and I'm hoping it'll get people to cash them in more often. I don't know, I might just sit there and just waste times do the extra 2 push-ups or whatever it is to even it back out to a 5. Plus then people ask about it, which reminds people that they can cash in points to make me do push-ups. Because here's the secret, I actually do want people to do that, because I should do push-ups and that to keep myself fit, and it helps when I'm doing it as something in support of my stream. Alright, we have a hydrate. Well, actually, we have Rainbow Octavian has done a weird flex. Weird flex is best flex. We've got a hydrate I'll do here in a moment, and I am doing bad posture. I'm being really notorious about leaning forward this stream, so give me a moment and I will correct my posture. Thought they were going to die in that hit. So here comes the hydrate. Hydration achieved. And I have adjusted my posture. I have noticed one thing, because I'll adjust the mic to wherever I'm at. And if I'm good about people catching me on the posture a couple of times, I'll adjust the mic to where it needs to be for when I'm sitting in my chair correctly. And then, because I'm making sure to keep proper distance from the mic and all that kind of stuff, it sort of becomes its own posture check. Just from doing my professional recording at the at my job and all that, you get in the habit of knowing where you need to be relative to your mic and all that for different things. Yep, Ellen getting it done. Ellen Ennis. got one of those names they would use for a Marvel character's secret identity. Because they sure do love their wordplay and just having that, what's the term for it? I'm blanking on it. Like where they do like Clark Kent, Lois Lane, all those names where they have the, where are you going, my man? Alliteration, yes, they love their alliteration. So, Ellen Ennis absolutely has alliteration going on for her. Which just means she's incapable of death. I mean, everyone knows in Marvel, like, when someone dies, they don't die, they're just, like, temporarily gone. They'll be back next week, don't worry. DC is also notorious for that. Superhero deaths are meaningless. They serve as a plot device until people are bored and then they bring them back. Sure, I can get you a look at the skills here as soon as I'm between wave of zombies. No, it switched targets while I was swinging, so I missed. I do wish that wasn't a thing, that like once I've already started a swing on a target, it commits. Alright, so the skills, and I'll shift them over so it's not behind the to-do list. I said skills. So yep, we are at 4 fitness and 5 strength, nowhere near getting another point in either of those. Light-footed and sneaking are still at 4, which is where they've stayed since we got away from the ice cream parlor. Because we really only gained those because there's tons of zombies and we were stuck foraging. So we're creeping around foraging. But, Nimble's at 3. That's going well. Our combat skills are mostly 4, with Short Blade getting real close to 5. Maintenance has 5, which is excellent. Crafting skills are coming along because we have had to start... Well, not had to. We have begun building our base, so there's that time there. So yeah. And then our survivalist skills, we haven't really done much. Like, we did foraging to try and get some weapons and some other stuff earlier, but we haven't taken any time to really develop it. Like, those kinds of skills we'll touch at from time to time, but we won't ever really have too much of focus. Yeah, a gas station base. And that's a strategic choice. Like, normally I don't use the same bases too often when I'm doing solo runs. I like to try and move it around, so I've done many gas stations. I've done the bait shop, I've done the bar on the north end of Riverside, we've done some random mansion in Louisville. Like, we like to float around, but for the 16x pop run, I want a base that's, like, for my long-term base, I should say, I want a base that's center-ish map, which leaves Ekron as pretty much, like, Ekron and Muldrow would be the 2 places I'd sit there and say are center-ish map. But Muldrow has a ridiculous population I would have to work my way up to fighting into. Versus Ekron is a very good starting town for these runs. And there just isn't another place I can get to a gas station center map. Yep. And it's good, like... I didn't know you were in software QA specifically. I know a lot of people go, oh, software devs must hate QA. It's like, no. I freaking love QA. Having QA there is great. I would much rather the problems that show up in software be found well before they reach the customer, because everything becomes exponentially worse when a customer's involved. Versus if someone says, hey, I'm noticing this problem, and we're early in the dev cycle, excellent. I also know I should be working on my carpentry to get the stairs and the rain barrels up, like I really should, and I'm putting it off and I know it. So like I probably should do that. Okay. I still think that's good. So you help take what's going to effectively be written up as the requirements down the road. You're the technical middle person that would go, okay, you told me you want, you know, whatever the thing you want is, and I'm going to now translate it into what that actually is in technical terms. Versus, you know, all the times I've worked with a customer and they go, well, I want a blinky thingy over here, and I want it to thingy the other thingy, and you kind of stare at them going, what are you talking about? Or like from the IT days, I ran to someone, they were like, I need one of those plastic zippy tie thingies, or no, it was plastic zippy thingies or something. I was like, do you mean a zip tie? Yeah. I want stuff to do things that causes other things that makes the customer happy, and you kind of stare at them going, I'm going to need you to be a little bit more specific. So yeah, I would say I'm getting ready to declare Ekron as dead, because I think we're at 10 kills from traveling the entire north end of Ekron to the entire south end. And we're going to have little groups like this wander in for what will feel like almost ever. Like, as we spin through here again, they'll go away. Can you make it pop? Yep. I want this, but good. I'm gonna need you to specify by what you mean good. Because that is a very subjective term depending on whose perspective it's good from. Oh, excellent, Vernon. I've definitely had to get pretty what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say like unkind. I don't want to say short because that implies that is like arguing or yelling or something like that. That's definitely not the case. That I've had to, you know, go to a product manager and going, what you were asking for is not something you actually want. I know you think you want it, but no, really, you don't want that, and I'm not going to do it because it's just going to be bad for all of us. Like, I did have a case that I was working at a company, and it was one of those, it's one of those situations where, you know, a person would show up on this page, it's trying to market and sell whatever, and they're like, all right, but we want to try and capture sales, and we believe if we can catch them when they've decided they're going to leave our page, and we put a pop-up that's like, oh wait, but we'll give you like 10% off, that'll lead to more sales. And my response is like, you do not want to do that. You are going to anger everyone. And customers that have been loyal a long time will see that crap and go, absolutely not. And they will not be your customer anymore. And we went and we argued and we argued and we argued, and I finally got the boss to put in writing that they would take the blame when it blew up in their face. And the boss is being entirely pissy about the entire thing because I was fighting him so hard on it. And then we made it, and it didn't even get through an entire day before higher up was like, you need to take it down now. So, like, we didn't even, like, properly implement it. We just put it on as, like, a Band-Aid thing that we could rip out easily because the whole dev team knew it wasn't going to survive. See, I would still be... I mean, I wouldn't be actually mad if it was 100% off. Like, that would be disingenuous. Like, even if it was something super generous, like 50% off, if I went to go away, I'm like, don't pop up me. you've waited until I've made my decision not to buy your product to then try and catch me after I've made my decision, and that's usually too late. Now, granted, yeah, 100% off? Alright. Now, it's 100% off for the first month. I'm gonna read those terms of service real fast and just assume it's not actually free. But yeah, no, it was a whole thing. And it was one I did not let my boss live down because I'm frank isn't the words I want to use, because that gives an implication that isn't what it is. I tend to be very transparent, and I am willing to be outspoken about things that are either not right or are bad ideas, like, and offer. You know, it's like, this is what you're trying to accomplish, this is what you want to do to try to accomplish it. Might I make an alternative suggestion to accomplish the same goal, only that's probably not going to be as difficult for whatever reason. Alright, we got a zombie inside there, banging on the doors. I'm honestly just going to leave the zombies in there banging on the doors. They'll break down the doors, they'll come out, we'll kill them then. Because skulking around in the house is where you get yourself in real trouble. But yeah, no, it's one of those things, like, we've all seen, like, the advertisement where it's, you know, oh, you didn't buy our product, alright, here's 10% off, oh, you still didn't buy our product, it's 20% off. Alright, if you're gonna do that, I understand the marketing and why you do it. Just skip to the chase, tell me what you're gonna sell me the product for, because if you're offering a 20% off, that means it's still profitable for you to do that. Like, let's just make that the price and stop with the games. Like, and I got tired of that from working in retail and watching as the holidays would approach, you'd watch the prices slowly creep up on a number of things, and then they'd offer a bunch of discounts. And so you'd have people, it's like, but it's 30% off. I'm like, yeah, it was marked 30% up over the course of, like, 5 months. You know, realistically, you're still getting a tiny bit of a discount, but they'll imply it's some huge discount. It's like, no, they just adjusted the price to make it look better. It's marketing. Alright, nothing down this way. That is one thing I did appreciate from the company I was working for, which, like I said, I've never said the name and I'm not going to say the name on stream, was I did appreciate they didn't tend to do gimmicks. They'd be like, alright, it's gonna be free for a while. Okay, like, free, like, I get a little while and then I have to pay? No. When we say free, it's free from day X to Y, it's just free. And I really appreciated that. You're gonna make me get this bag out for these sunflower seeds, which I'm just gonna immediately eat. Because it's very annoying how many companies are very misleading and deceptive in how they do stuff. Like, I am a strong believer, if deception is a core part of your business strategy, your company shouldn't be allowed to exist. Alright, meta event, but I mean, it's not exactly like a whole lot of zombies for it to drag around. Oh, I missed one in the backyard. And there's one there too. But I think after this lap around Ekron, I'm going to consider Ekron being eradicated because there's effectively no one here. Like, we'll have these zombies pop in here for an extremely long time at just 1 or 2 at a time. Because they'll be just out in the woods wandering in. But that's fine. We'll just make it a point, like, every week or so as we're clearing other places to do a run through and wipe out whatever shows up. Okay. I am currently based up on the north end of Ekron by the gas station. It's a strategic decision because Ekron is a small to medium-ish pop area. Lots of good resources and gas near water. So basically we've got everything we need for a long-term base. And then Ekron itself is pretty close to center map for the west side of the map. So used as a staging operation for like when we go to hit Riverside and everywhere else. Like, we're basically getting ready to consider Ekron eradicated because normally when you come back here we'd be fighting over 100 zombies and we're just seeing stragglers. Zombies in the backyard here. Figured I'd check since I could see in right there. But as I mentioned, I'm not going to go skulking into each and every little house. We're going to keep making noise from time to time as we roll through, let the zombies come out to us. I'll end up going into the houses when, you know, getting kind of low on weapons, or if I were to ever need food, which may happen during the winter. Then we'll start skulking around houses, clearing them out. Otherwise, we'll just let noise draw the zombies to us and deal with them on our terms. And for people new to the game, you'll notice I'm fighting 3 zombies right now, but these 2 are not a threat because I'm standing on them. You can hold the zombies in place, as can other zombies, and you can stand on them forever. Like I've jokingly on the stream sat there, you know, eating a salad, made a new salad, like all that kind of stuff, all while standing on zombies just to demonstrate that you basically take them out of the fight. So that's a good way of helping you deal with packs, is if you're fighting like 2 zombies and one gets knocked over, try and get yourself or the other zombie on top of them. And I've got to hydrate, so I'll do that real quick. Yep. Yep, honestly, actually, I assume we have a decent number of people who are new. Give me one moment. Alright, so we got to stretch, so I'm going to do that real fast. Okay, I'm sure I had the timing wrong, but that's fine. Hey, Longclaw, how's it going? But since I haven't gone through the, since I haven't gone through the whole bit, I like to give a couple pointers out to people who are new to the game. The first piece of advice I have is slow down. Most people, when they first get the game, start running around at full speed, and running uses stamina. Stamina, when you get low, makes you exerted. When you get exerted, your damage goes down not by like 5 or 10%, but like 20-30%, which means it takes that many more hits to kill anything, which makes you more exerted, which slows your ability to do stuff down, which makes you more vulnerable, and it gets you killed. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is when you first open Project Zomboid, I'd recommend going here to Options, going to Display, and you'll see this one that says Blood Decals. Now, if you're playing in lower populations, this isn't as big of a deal, but when you start getting to high populations, blood decals are every time you kill a zombie, it puts a little splatter where the zombie died of blood. And those never go away. So I highly recommend dropping that down to none if you're playing on any type of higher population, because those will eventually cause your game to have absolutely horrendous performance issues once you get enough of them. And it takes a while to get there, but it does infinitely go up as you kill zombies. The next one is ISO cursor visibility. I think it starts at like 10 or 15%. I'd recommend 50 or 75%, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. If you want the mouse to show when you're aiming, that's that checkbox. Neither here nor there. But aim outline, I believe it starts on none. I recommend any weapon. So I would recommend you make those changes. And so if we look when I'm aiming, you'll notice this circle with a line that follows around. Thank you for the follow, Sailor Hot Dog, welcome to the stream. But you'll notice this circle with a little line coming off it. That's actually where I'm aiming, is that circle, not where my mouse is. So that's an important distinction to know, because that'll help. You can also aim past your enemy. So if the zombie was just right in front of me, like if a zombie's right here, if I'm out here, I'm still going to hit that zombie, because it's just what direction relative to me I'm swinging. The aim outline is basically when a zombie is in range, it'll put a green outline to let you know what zombie you're going to hit and that it's in range. So it's really helpful to have that for both purposes of... You know what, we're going to do carpentry because we're already close to tired. But it's really helpful to be able to see what zombie you're going to hit and what's in range, especially when you're new. Because you don't yet have... You haven't used the weapons enough to get a good gauge for what the range is, because some of the weapons can be a little deceptive on the range. Like the meat cleaver is a little bit tricky to know when a zombie's in or out of range when you first start playing. And then there are times that Project Zomboid will prioritize a target differently than you would expect. And that can get you in get out of my yard zombies. And that can get you in trouble. So it is good to have that outline. So you'll notice the zombie will turn green, it's in range, smack. But the example I usually give is if there's a zombie crawling along the ground, and in the same spot there's a zombie that is starting to get up off the ground, Project Zomboid will typically prioritize the zombie that is getting off the ground, which is the opposite of what most people want. Most people see the crawler as an immediate threat, whereas the zombie getting up is an imminent threat. It's not as immediate a problem. So it's good to have that information so you can, you know, when you see the outlines going to go over the zombie getting up, you know to just back off before the zombie that's crawling gets your ankles. So that's the reason I would recommend those settings. And for the record, if you do like the whole blood splatter thing, you can just turn it down. And it also doesn't get rid of the blood splatter from like your save file or anything. So even though I've had it off for a long time, I can go down here. And if we watch and I go to blood decals and they say all of them, you'll see I've killed a bunch of zombies there. There's a ton in the road over here. There's a bunch of smudges down there and down here. Like, we're not going to have too much performance implications because most of my fighting didn't happen at the gas station. So that's just all it's hiding, is these little blood splatters. I'm going to turn it off before I drive down the middle part of town where we had an absolutely astronomical number of kills. And my performance tanks. So where are all the zombies coming from? Well, right now on the map, we have killed most of the zombies in this area, but they do move around the map. So most of the zombies we're bumping into right now were zombies that were just out in a field nearby, out in a farm nearby, and just wandering around. So that's what we're fighting at the moment. If you're asking where the zombies came from in the first place, the lore of the game is you are in rural Kentucky in 1993. And there's what's known as the Knox event. That it's a zombie plague. And that basically Kentucky is effectively quarantined and the zombies are loose in the quarantine. As the game goes on, they will give you information. It's a zombie pandemic game, or a zombie apocalypse game. So, you know, when they say it's quarantined and it's controlled, it's a zombie apocalypse game. It's not quarantined and controlled. But you get tidbits of all of what's happening in the world around you if you listen to the radio and watch the television and game and all that. Alright, and that's an extra generator. I don't need it. It's just, it wasn't bolted down. So, you know, it's mine now. I need to chop down all these trees. Any more zombies in my yard? Nope. And I'm going to do something that serves no functional purpose, but Ellen is going to become Dr. Ennis. Because I have the power to do that. And no one can question the authority of Dr. Ennis because, you know, they have to be alive to do that. So the usual way you get a doctorate in the real world is you go to a bunch of college, and you go to a bunch more college, and then you go to a bunch more college, and then eventually you become a doctor in something. Ellen has a much more efficient strategy of doing the whole getting a doctorate thing. So you could go to college, but instead what Ellen's going to do is she's going to pull right up to this pharmacy right here. She's going to kill the zombies wandering around. And she's going to go get herself a doctorate. You gotta be careful. Skulking around in houses is dangerous. So, we have our wonderful doctorates here on the wall, and we're just gonna go, those belong to me now. I did not burn down the gas station this start. The gas station started burned down. I was actually pretty salty about it. Oh yeah, and we have a pretty good RimWorld run going right now. We're doing Arco Nexus ending, and we're getting to the point that we're right about to do our first reset. So that'll be fun. Chat wanted me to do a tunneler slash darkness slash that kind of build, which has been fun. I am curious when we start the next part of the playthrough, because Arco Nexus is basically you reset your game 3 times. So it's like new game light or whatever. Yeah, Whistlebeak, and you are getting augmented as heck in our run. You've got 2 Arco Tech legs and a bionic arm. Not because you had injuries that required them, but because we had the tech, and, you know, you're definitely one of the people we are bringing into the new playthrough. So, we are getting your character as juiced can be, since they're the frontliner. Yeah, you did almost burn to death. No, wait, was that Whistlebeak? I know we had 2 people. I'm trying to remember who it was that got caught on fire and we had to put them out. Yeah. Right. Yeah, because Whistlebeak was in the thick of it with Darkstrider, I believe it was. And they both got caught in the explosion and set on fire. Or no, it was they had the incendiary cannon thing, and they caught Whistlebeak in that, and Whistlebeak went down in the fire. I remember. Yes, you we had, it was 50-something Panthers, I think, was for one of our things. Manhunter. So you and Darkstrider were just basically holding the line while everyone else was just throwing bullets in their direction. So yeah, now Dr. Enris has her doctors in surgery and medicine. Excellent. She is very proud of this day. I recommend staying away from her as a surgeon, though. She tends to use a crowbar. Yeah, doctor in surgery, and her first aid skill is currently 4.88 because we got a scratch right at the beginning of the game, and that is the only injury we've sustained this whole time. Gotcha. Well, you have yourself a good dinner, and you enjoy your D&D. Thank you so much for stopping by. Yep, and I'm waiting just a little while longer before we go to sleep, because I'm tired of us waking up in the middle of the night, so we're just going to sit down, we're going to relax, it's fine. I am feeling like I do need to actually put in the time to work on the carpentry. I don't want to, but I really should get a roof on this place and get our water situated. Alright, I got another 5 push-ups cash in. That's fine. I'm going to just go ahead and eat our salad real fast. Go to sleep. And then when I wake up, I will do the 5 push-ups.